I had a break at work and it coincided with one of the dive mates having a break as well. So when the weather came good, we decided to head out. You got to seize those opportunities when they arise. And we headed out, we decided to do a long trip, go out wide. We went out 125 Ks or thereabouts. Took almost 3 hours and we were jumping around a few reefs out there. The visibility out this far, it was a bit disappointing, to be honest. When we jumped over, I was expecting, we're so far offshore, expecting to see a bit better, but in a weird way, this trip, the visibility was better and closer than actually further out wide. Visibility aside, the conditions offshore were just immaculate. We had not expected to have conditions like this. We were just so lucky. The whales were constant throughout this, just constantly singing all the time. They just kept us company the whole way, or drove us insane, whichever way you want to look at it. Eventually Greg got onto a red throat emperor. It's been a while since I've seen one of these, and this was quite a good size one, so when he pulled that up, it was a nice surprise for all of us. On this trip I really focused on shooting the fish in the head. I got a bit lazy of late, and when you shoot them in the head there's a lot less struggle, a lot less pressure on the spear, a lot less likely to bend the spear, and they're just easier to recover. And of course you don't damage the flesh as much, so that's always a bonus. And I was fortunate enough on this trip, I was actually felt like I was getting my zing back, and I actually was able to shoot quite a few quite close to the brain, so they didn't put up much of a fight. There's always plenty to see on these trips. It never ceases to amaze me, the different life that can present itself, and it's always a pleasure to dive in these locations. We settled in for the night. I fried up some fish and we waited for the sun to go down, had a long night's sleep, refreshed for the next day. We're going to be spending 2 nights out, so we needed to stay energized. I've been fortunate enough to shoot a tusky that was distracted, and I quite like tuskies, so I was quite pleased when I was pulling it up, but I got distracted for a moment, and it only takes a moment, and then this is what I ended up with. tiger shark came in at one point and kept circling, kept coming in pretty close. It was becoming a risk for me landing my fish, and so at some point when it came in too close, I gave it a bit of a nudge to get rid of it. With the wind starting to pick up and fatigue starting to set in, we decided to call it and head in with a bunch of fish and a lot of good memories.